Hello everyone and welcome to the Lightbringers Guild Wars 2 podcast. I hope you are well and having a good day wherever you are. You're listening. I'm not restarting because it's just the way it is. I don't know. I was
incredibly eloquent.
I was wondering what I was going to say there. No, right. Yes, they can hear you. Okay, good. Hopefully. Wait, are they? Yes, they can. Whee! Okay, good. That was a good start. It's been 2 weeks. I'm exhausted, but the podcast is here. We have some awesome guests. You're going to be able to see their faces now or soon after this. And if you're not on the video, you're not watching the video, you won't see their faces, which is unfortunate and sad. But if you want to see their faces, you can go to youtube.com/JebroUni, or you can go to Spotify and look up the GW2 podcast, The Lightbringers, and you will see our faces, as well as the faces of people from the past. Not everyone, like Charlie Chaplin or anything, just like us and other people that have been on the show. I am in a bit of a mood today.
I would hope.
Are you okay, hon? Do you need a hug?
Oh, it's been a week. Oh, if I could only tell you. The week I have had.
Oh dear.
I love my work. I love being a therapist. But there's a lot that happens.
Yeah.
A lot of stories you hear.
We're not invulnerable to the taxing day-to-day life.
Are not. That is true. But I love it. And I wouldn't trade it.
But you know who can be invulnerable? A player in Guild Wars 2 who goes down and then gets resurrected and then is invulnerable for 2 seconds as a bit of a grace period. That's how we transition to talking about Guild Wars 2, right?
Excellent, excellent. We have wonderful guests. We have Fornax and crew who are returning as per the norm. We have Engelbert Meow from Twitch and
What an intro. Thank you.
That was really good. Who's also joining us as well. I'm just gonna ask everyone what they do, where they do it, etc. If you are in chat as well, here live at 1 p.m. Pacific on a Friday, every other week right now, as we Guild Wars 2 has expansions and things going on, but we're just doing it every 2 weeks at the moment. We'll see how we go. There's things kind of ramp up for the next drop of the patch, which is August, September, October, November. The 20th, I guess, somewhere around there. Then we'll just do some more podcasts, and probably because it's raids and other things. But we're going to be talking about the story today, just the expansion story, because that's what we got right now. What encompassed, how we enjoyed it, very vague, very general, but also very specific.
It's like
very pinpoint.
It's like astrology.
Yeah.
It's like, this could be a very specific characteristic, or it can just be a general vibe that you sometimes encounter. As an Aries, you're prone to thievery, but also you just might want to expand your... I don't know. I just happened to steal $50 from the local bank, but I can't help it. I'm an Aries.
Is that what we're going with? Astrology excuses now?
My daily horoscope told me so.
Wait, have you done this, or this will happen?
I don't know. I plead the fifth. What's the statute of limitations on that? We'll find out afterwards.
I think it's like 3 years.
Oh, perfect. We'll find out in 3 years.
Don't know how recent that was. Yes. So, Fornax, tell us what you do, where you do it.
Yes. Hello. I'm Fornax, the Crichton Herald. I do things on YouTube. I make videos. Please watch them. Thank you.
That was actually
I've
pretty
had a
good
long
intro.
week as well. That's not bad for me, actually. That's
was like a
fairly
plea.
insane.
Yeah, it is. I think
Please
a
help
plea
me.
for help. I'm on this podcast against my own will. Please leave me alone.
I'm blinking.
Wait, are you blinking? Is your character actually blinking?
No,
Oh, no, they
I
are.
am.
They are.
I can blink. Yes. I've done my review of Guild Wars 2's expansion over on there. So Yeah, and I've done my War Within expansion review as well, and I'm working on my homestead now because I got a bug, so I couldn't actually make any content around the homesteads because I got a bug. I couldn't. I'd unlocked my mastery, but it wouldn't let me unlock the.
Oh, I thought you said you were sick.
The handy
Sorry.
worker.
I didn't realize you meant a bug with the game.
I'm like mentally unwell most of the time, like drooling, and I took too many meds today, guys. I don't recommend by accident, and I'm an idiot. But no, please watch my channel. Anyway, that's it. Carry on, everyone else. Car crash. That's fine.
Excellent. So
Yeah.
Proof. What do you do, and where do you do it?
Hi everyone, I'm Crew. I sometimes will post videos over on my YouTube about Guild Wars 2, but I'm probably going to be expanding out to like Dragon Age and World of Warcraft because I've really been enjoying those games at the moment. And I also stream here on Twitch on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, usually playing Guild Wars 2, but we've been mixing it up with the previously aforementioned games of Dragon Age, Inquisition, and World of Warcraft. So if you like RPGs, head on over here. We got them in abundance. They're on sale. It's a nice weekend sale, 50% off, plus a kidney.
I'm sold.
So
Your kidney or their kidney?
Forget about it. You know.
how did we get to kidneys? Okay. Over to someone else who could potentially cosplay as a kidney. There is a new guest on our show, and he's gonna have a featured video because I've just found a video of one of your cosplays so people can see it. It's the timey one. It's okay. I'm warning you now. It's alright. It's nothing. I mean, I can show a more cursed one. That also works. But Engelbert, do you want to tell us a bit about what you do, where you do it as well?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Engelbert Meow. I also stream on Twitch, and I play a lot of Guild Wars, but I also do cozy indie games on the weekend. I like to feature smaller developers.
Nice.
I do a series on my channel called Curse Cosplays that some of you might have seen around in the past, which Jebro so kindly showed on the screen here just a moment ago. And I do those in 4 hours or less with $50 or less, and it's to raise money for the Extra Life. So we do those once a month, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. Is that
what the hell?
the homestead hat? Yeah.
There were lights? I don't remember that.
Is amazing.
Yeah.
There
I was
so
just
much
really
lighting.
excited. That was the day they dropped the feature on homesteads, and I pulled out the popsicle sticks very shortly after that. It was a fun project.
That is amazing. Okay, now I need to just see if
awesome.
there is one more. I need.
Do you auction them off
Need
for
more.
charity? The bits that you can? Or
Sorry.
do you hoard them? Sorry, do you auction them off for charity or do you hoard them? And either answer is perfectly valid.
Both.
Usually for charity, yeah.
The Eye of
That's
Janthir.
wonderful.
Yeah, my Eye of Janthir.
The fact that you move inside the Eye of Janthir.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's haunting and also awesome at the same time. Amazing. Well, please go and follow all of our wonderful guests. Did you tell them your channel and stuff?
Oh, yeah, twitch.tv/Engelbert Meow.
Amazing. So you will be able to see in the description of this video everyone's links that they have given me so that you can go and check out all their stuff, all their bits and bobs. Not the bits and bobs that you think though, you dirty bastard. So
My bits.
OnlyFans
my
coming
bobs.
next summer. Mm-hmm.
only homesteads. As we just saw. Okay, so Guild Wars
Strange
2.
one tonight.
Story.
It didn't take very long. It won't take very long. We're going to talk about story, I think. I think it's a good time to do that. So, I remember I'm going to show a little bit of footage in the background because why not? Let's see. Hopefully it's me not looking too gomless. Actually, no, it is looking a bit gomless. But general story, which is pretty much every stream. Not yet. It's okay. Don't watch it. And also in the chat, if you have any questions about story and you want to talk about things, let us know. Also, spoilers. Huge, massive spoilers. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put that in the title. Because if I don't, that's going to be bad. Ooh. What we're going to do is, starting off, I thought it was pretty cool how you got into the story anyway. Because you had to go to your home city in the first place. And you got told to go and see. For me, it was, oh God, what's his name? Annoying as fuck. Sir, I just swore. Jesus. Anyway, you saw someone and they sent you to this committee meeting, which was lovely. How do we feel about the beginning intro into the story in general? That wasn't very vague. A committee meeting. It was a PTA. It was a PTA that we had.
Is it Counselor Ludo?
I think so.
Asura?
Yes,
yeah.
I think so. Yeah, that's the one.
It was really good. I liked it. I love that the past 2 expansions have had you go back to your capital city where you're able to touch base with some characters that you might have met in your personal story. And it feels very organic that way. And then, of course, you get to Lion's Arch and you do the actual Tyrion Alliance meeting. And a lot of people said it was very wordy and a dialogue heavy instance, which it objectively is. But as someone who's really loved story for some time in MMOs, I ate it up. I got a spoon, I had a fork, I had a knife. I was feasting, especially because we haven't really had a lot of dense dialogue heavy instances like that in Guild Wars 2, I feel like, in some time. So I was really enjoying it.
Cool. Anyone else want to comment about the going into the first bit of the story and just that the dialogue heavy part? Did you feel like it was too heavy? Did you feel like it was okay? Like you learned all the information you needed? It was important to set up the story? Like, what do we think?
So I really liked. I mean, I was a bit sad that we got a missive again. That we got a message. Our life is driven by the mail, in so many ways. It's a vital service in game. I would like a little bit more immersive interaction and openness, and there are a number of ways to do that. And I hope that they do decide to do that.
They just keep wasting paper.
I like the fact
that's the problem.
True. All those poor owls. But I like the fact that everyone. The story was determined.
Do they die every single time you tend one, or like to deliver mail? Is that what did you say? Yeah. Owls.
Owls. I've got an owl. I've got an owl.
Yeah, but does it die every single time, or are you just saying it's tired?
It's tired.
Oh, it's tired. Okay,
it's
good.
Very busy. It's very busy. Oh my God! Like, no murdering owls here.
Hopefully they don't die.
Okay, sexual innuendos, yes. Animal cruelty, definitely not. I like the fact that depending on your race, you got a different starter. I thought that was great. I thought I liked the diversity. I kind of missed the diversity that we had of the kind of in vanilla, where we had all sorts of different paths and different I really like the start of the personal story. I thought it was a really great setup, and I'm kind of sad that they've moved away from that a bit. I understand that they've had to do it for scale and for homogeny, and that's fine, but I like the fact that there was a bit of diversity, so that was great for me. I like the fact that we got to go to LA. I mean, it's a huge part of the lore going from way back, And I feel like we haven't had a lot of stories since Path of Fire there, where we started off in Path of Fire with all the refugees. So I liked going back to LA. I liked the use of that building. I liked the fact that they're going back to old places and reusing them and bringing them back into the story. I think there's so much real estate in the game that they don't utilize that they really could. And they've got these beautiful environments and beautiful places, and a lot of them feel like a ghost town because everyone's always wanting to be on the cutting edge. So I really liked that we went back. I liked the fact that there were loads of conversations, so you could engage with as much of the story or as little as was necessity. And I talked to everyone, and I liked the conversations, and the characters felt grounded. I liked that there was someone there from the Dominion of Winds, which gives us hope that they will open up that region and we're going to get Tengu, not necessarily a playable race, but we'll get Tengu stories in the future, fingers crossed. I like the fact that for Sylvari players, we got introduced to another Firstborn who we hadn't really had a huge amount of voice acting for or character development for. So there was a lot to like in the opening salvo for me. I know that like my mother-in-law plays, full disclosure, she was like, oh my god, talkie. I'm like, yeah. But she's absolutely like played the holy fuck out of this expansion. She absolutely loves it. She's totally in love with her Warclaw. There's like, she keeps sending me pictures of her and her Warclaw and then the small Warclaw because she's a ranger. So yeah, so
Aww, that's cute.
I'm very happy. It's very, I know, it's very sweet. So yeah, I'm happy. I really like the opener, and thumbs up from me for the start of the story.
Awesome. Angle.
Yeah. I love that in the start, right at the very beginning, we're getting a snapshot of the entire world of the game being affected by this issue. Like, we're getting all of the world leaders together at one time. And I know there's some like crossover between expansions and in previous expansions, but to me, they've always kind of felt a little bit separated from each other. Path of Fire stays with Path of Fire stuff, and Heart of Thorn stays with Heart of Thorn stuff. So this kind of really brought in a feeling of, hey, this is affecting like everyone. You get to hear from folks from Path of Fire, folks from Heart of Thorn, Icebrew Saga. You're getting representation from everywhere, and it was just kind of like, oh, okay, so now I see how we're still all kind of working together. And it set a tone for me with this expansion of like not just being, the Janthir Wilds on its own, but we've got, Wizard's Tower in there as we're moving in, and then all of the representatives of Tyria and beyond kind of not sticking their noses, but having a hand in the decisions we're making there. So I really enjoyed all the conversations to kick this off.
Yeah, it definitely feels like more of a holistic approach to storytelling rather than really fine detailed in one region of the world and then basically forgetting about the rest of the world. And I think that racial representation of all the different races and political groups is a really nice touch for this expansion in general. Now that we've finished the dragon storyline, like, it's well and done, so we get to really get into the world itself and the inhabitants.
I have a question for you guys. So a lot of the content that we get is kind of time locked, right?
Mm-hmm.
The expansion is set in an era of the game, and it's forever like kind of frozen there in time, so the players can go back and play it. Do you think that they're going to start nibbling away at the edges of that, or using sort of clever phasing in order to kind of have that feeling again of a living world, rather than just these kind of static spectacle one-time events? Well, so because I'm thinking about the Tyrian Alliance, and I'm thinking about what would have actually happened on Tyria if we'd had this massive disaster and Aurene had saved everybody, and everyone realized that the old gods had fucked off and left everyone to die. And I'm wondering what would happen and how the kind of social ecosystem of the planet would look after those events. And I'm wondering if places like LA and places that are kind of more guess, neutral in terms of story, can actually kind of reflect some of the changes that would actually happen in the world. And they could perhaps do it like through phasing. So if you have finished all the story up to this point, then LA looks like this, and there are these elements that you don't get until you've actually kind of finished the story and change
You're
it.
talking about this because of LA, aren't you? As well. Like
I don't like LA, but it's a concrete theme park. I don't like it. I liked the old one, but I just
there's a lot of room they could fill with LA.
Yeah. But
I need to give it a good destroying again.
Yes.
We need someone else to come along and like, you know, destroy the big like octopus and stuff like that, and then like we're good.
True.
Let's destroy the whole.
Yes.
It is very like aquarium or Disney World.
But to your question, Fornax, I think it could be a possibility. And in some ways they have started to do this. I recall in Secrets of the Obscure where you would go back to core maps and uncover like images from Mabon's and Isgarin's past. So they are putting slight bits of lore in older maps to keep them at least feeling a little bit more modern, that the world is still alive. But I think an environmental reflection would be more prominent of a showcase of that. It can get a little tricky, I think, with certain map metas, if maps are designed specifically with a meta in mind. In that situation, they probably have to make like a separate version of that map where the meta isn't really apparent, and it's more so just an exploratory quest-focused map version. But I think it could be cool, because I also wonder, like, there's probably still a lot more to develop in Amnoon and Joko's palace and recovering from the brand in that area. So I like to see them maybe entertain it a bit more, but we'll have to see.
Is it okay if we continue with the story, this one though, for now? Or maybe
well, if you insist. No, carry on.
Because I know it's gonna be a lot. We've got a lot to cover.
Well, to loop it back, we do have the actual meat of the meeting itself, and they do touch. We're making puns about meat. No, I take meat very seriously. This is no laughing matter. But we do touch base with various people, as we've mentioned, with the Dominion of Winds, with Amnoon. That's a little bit later in the story, but we do see representatives from the jungle, Kanamiatli, and
wow,
we are able to touch base with everyone's current political issues and strifes, but it is unceremoniously, or in his case, very appropriately, interrupted by Isgarin and the revealing and unveiling of the Astral Ward.
Oh, there we go. Oh, I almost clicked on it right away. There you go. Yes. So we know. Also, personally, I really am not a big fan of reading and lots of text and voiceovers and stuff, and I actually really enjoyed this. So, which is kind of wild actually, because it was very engaging, and like, you know, you see my face when this guy comes on. I'm like, oh wow. Like, but
oh, whoa.
There is a clip of me doing that randomly.
Daddy Isgarin is here.
So many arms, so many possibilities.
You can give me so many hugs.
Oh my god.
That's what we're thinking about. All the hugs.
Good. Engel, what's Engel thinking about?
I wish Rook was here. She'd back me up. Motherfuckers. Fine.
I think everyone's backing you up in their heads, other than me. Of course, because I am very innocent and pure.
And proper. What? God, you'd have to trim his fingernails though. Holy fuck. Anyway, carry on. Sorry.
Wow. Oh, good lord, Jesus.
Gonna turn into a slasher film real quick.
Too true. Yeah.
Okay. So
Sorry,
his
carry
Garen
on.
pops up and is completely safe for work. In everything he talks about, including using his arms. I'm glad that ArenaNet staff suddenly come into the chat just as it starts to get, just as the level starts to decrease and like.
I'm gonna watch to see if he gets a pedicure. I really am now. That's what's happening. Anyway,
That's actually the next patch.
Manny Petty.
That's the next patch. Yeah, it's literally there's the new barbershop feature, and like Garen is the first customer.
Yeah.
Like, but you actually sit in a chair. Like you don't, just bring up the window. Anyway, Garen is like, we here in it. These we are the people.
What?
It's a London thing.
It's
We
exactly
here, innit?
how that went.
We here in it.
We here in it. Yeah. You not heard that before?
They said, "What's up, y'all? We Sigma Alpha Chad, no cap."
I mean, this is old school. Like this is London. This is like we here, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is
Garen
not
does
no
say
cap. This is no cap. Well, I'm not sure if Garen is going to come in and say no cap. That would be so funny.
Well, if he was talking about like a jar or a phylactery
Maybe.
that doesn't have like a cap on it,
That's true.
you never know. But yeah, they actually get introduced with a cinematic, which was a lovely surprise. I was not expecting a cinematic so early on in the first, not even like the first chapter. It's technically chapter 0, right?
Yeah.
And I think it set a really good precedent as to how much cinematic cutscenes we would be getting in this expansion, which definitely felt more healthy than the previous.
Engel, how do you feel about cutscenes? Because we all have strong feelings about them.
I mean, I love cutscenes. Give me a good cutscene. I'm always like watching it like a movie with popcorn, like what's gonna happen. There's been some really epic moments that stick out in my brain there too, so I like it. I like that they called out the significance of like the Wizard's Tower traditionally being hidden, and you get like, bam, now it's not hidden anymore. Like this is a moment you should stick in your brain, players. So that's I took the message. I like a cutscene. Is my point.
No, that was a
It's
good
a long way around to saying that.
That
but
was
yes,
that
I
was
like
a
it.
good way of describing it, right? Like, because we do remember cutscenes. Like, there is a lot of text to this. So I think like and talking, but then if you have a cutscene, you feel there's that epicness that comes in, and that was a good moment to have a cutscene like that. If it had just randomly appeared or walked around the corner of the door or stuff, it wouldn't have been good, I think.
And I give them credit because it is a very smart way of breaking up what could have been an extremely monotonous dialogue-heavy instance. Which, of course, it's more dialogue, but it's at least in a more cutscene version.
True.
So you kind of shake up and you break up that fluidity a bit, which is nice.
I will say that the voice acting though is on peak. Is on point. It's peak. It's really good. As much as I would like more cutscenes, I can't complain about the standard of voice acting. It's always great, and they always do their best to deliver as many lines as they can within reason, voiced. And as a person who's dyslexic, I do read for fun, astonishingly, but depending on how my mood is and how my brain is working that day, it depends on how coherent it is. So I appreciate as much spoken dialogue as possible. So that's great.
I love the comments in chat. Everyone keep being awesome. Keep talking. That's great. Yes. No. Agreed. Dyslexic, ADHD. If you could see during the playthrough there, I did open my menu and started, making different looks every 2 seconds before talking to each person, which is very much that is where my brain goes. It's like, oh, new thing. Oh yeah, I got that. Oh yeah, there's a skin. Oh yeah. Okay. But that is my brain.
Can I ask what people thought about how he kind of introduced himself? Do you think that how he arrived kind of informed his character more than we've had before?
Anyone go?
I would
Yeah.
say yes. It felt very grandiose and bombastic, and he does seem like the type of person to enjoy a bit of a spectacle, considering how the Wizard's Tower looks and how their uniforms are and their focus on magic. He's a bit opulent, but not in like a super snobby way where he's like shoving it in your face. It's almost just like an innate. It's like old money whispers, new money like screams and is annoying. So I felt like it was very Asgarden. It was very, very true to him.
It was very fashionable, and I mean, given that Ascarin wears those amazing sunglasses, I would expect nothing less. And if you're somebody who is like staying hidden for thousands of years, and you're like thinking about, okay, if I were to make my grand entrance to the world, how would it go? You know, he probably was just like, all right, let's just do it. Boom, I'm here. Like, make it the most epic moment that is also still somewhat professional and not going to scare everybody, you know, running into the halls. So
yeah, I love that he comes in like a summoning swirl of magic, and then Fro just walks up right behind him and is like, "Hey guys!" Like Fro isn't even there with him when he gets summoned
He's
in.
no one. He doesn't care. Norns are just like, you know, this is me.
But he's in like an old school non, right? He's in Jura's era. So
That's fair. Okay, realizing that we're getting on.
Oh,
What?
but I want to say what I thought because I think something completely different to you guys.
Go on.
So I get the feeling that
Tonight's gonna be a
Asgarin
good night.
thinks
Oh, sorry.
I got a feeling. I think that he thinks that this planet is his, and we're just like little people running around.
Wait,
and
you
he's
think Asgarin
the king of the
owns the
world,
planet?
baby?
Oh.
No, so
No,
I mean,
he has that mentality.
Oh, okay. I was like,
definitely,
wait,
right?
what?
No, he's not actually the. I mean, technically, we think that he's the king of the seers, right?
So you think he's
And
a
they
narcissist?
are one of the. I don't. I mean, egomaniacal, maybe. I don't think that
Okay.
he is a part of the dark triad of like mental disorders or anything.
Okay.
But he's definitely
I
Machiavellian,
mean, we
right?
could definitely do a diagnosis if you want one day. Like diagnose each of the characters in Guild Wars 2 because everyone's got PTSD. Like, you know, it's just blatant.
But I think he looks down. I think he thinks he is the shit, as
Right.
it were, and I feel like he looks down on everybody else, and he's impatient, and he wants to do what he wants to do. And I hope that they lean into that because I think we could have a lot of fun with the story as he's just doing what the fuck he wants, and we're trying to kind of run around after him and clean up the mess, and the leaders are getting frustrated. And I think that there could be a very interesting dynamic between the Tyrion, the Alliance, and Isgarin, because I think he thinks that he's the emperor. We're all his subjects. You little people just do as you're told. And I like it. I'm not like poo poo boo. I don't like him. I really like it.
Oh, fair. Okay. Wasn't
Yeah,
expecting that.
yeah.
Oh, that's good. So in this prologue, the reason why we end up going to Janthir is because there is talk of getting all of the peoples united across the world of Tyrion. Because loads of stuff's happened in the past, you know, and they're just like, we need to move forward. We need to connect with other people. And I think it was Frode or whoever told someone about the Lowland Coden, and so we basically go there, and don't they reactivate one of the wizard's hubs as well? I think that's what they do. But in thinking with that, like as well, like remembering that there is Secrets of the Obscure which connects to this, but there's actually all of the expansions which connect to this, because there's reps and there's people around from, you know, there's the, you know, Ender Dragons as well, and they talk about the dragons there, they talk about some of the story and the plot around the Tyrion Alliance, and there's they talk about everything in a very general sense, and just basically saying, so much has happened. We need more people because there's going to be more stuff that happens. Which is funny because They almost go to a place to look for it. I feel like they go there to look for it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, we're gonna go to Janthir. I'm sure it's fine there. They're just big bears, cuddly. Sure, there's nothing, odd going on there. But I think also maybe there was a couple of thoughts about like there's something maybe a little bit more to it, like the wizards, why they may want to go there. We don't know. Maybe. Who knows? Anyway. We go to Janthir. Unknown territory. I'm actually going to read bits of this so I can get reconnected to all of this stuff. So we go to Janthir and then we're like, oh, this is a nice place. How do we feel about how we got there, how it is, like with the intro, the first like kind of couple of quests and running about there? How was that? You enjoy it? Like getting into Janthir? Was it like, oh, Janthir, this is amazing. This is the best place. Oh, this is so much better than Path of Fire's entrance.
It was not better than that, but it was very lush.
Yeah.
It was very lush and green, which was not really what I was. I mean, if I had not seen any of the lead up to Janthir Wilds in terms of their marketing or any concept art, just looking at the map of Janthir, I would have expected to have much more of like a volcanic rocky area just because of how the world map showed Janthir.
Yeah.
But because Janthir Wilds is not necessarily about Janthir, but about like the entire region of Janthir Bay and the Isles themselves, it was a really nice kind of reintroduction into that Pacific Northwest environ where we've seen this with Drizzlewood Coast, and it was very well done there, and they're doing it again very well. And the actual journey to Janthir was just via a portal, which is not my most favorite form of transportation, and it does make the world feel a little bit more small. So I would not have minded if we had taken an airship over.
It was from
Janthir.
Divinity's Reach, right?
Yeah, it was from Divinity's Reach, but there is a good stretch of land between DR and the Lowland Shore.
Yeah.
But when NPCs in the map would remark like, "Oh, you're far from home. Oh my God, you are someone who's traveled far." We're like, I just entered a portal, so it's like a second. Sorry.
Yeah, I think because they had a base there, I'm like, I can forgive it to a degree. I'm like, I
Well,
guess.
the base wasn't originally in the Lowland Shore, in that location.
Wasn't it?
Moon Camp
No.
moves around.
Oh, I thought this was. I thought they reactivated.
They literally
this. Okay, maybe
teleported
not.
it in. They brought it close and teleported it in so that they
My
wouldn't
bad.
startle the Kodan, who are somewhat averse to magic.
Yeah, because okay, all right, then I got that wrong. I thought they reactivated. Why did I think that? Oh well, doesn't
Because
matter.
it was there original. Because one of the outposts was there originally before the story of
Oh,
Secrets,
okay, maybe.
and they moved it away.
Okay.
And that's why we've actually been dispatched here. I don't think it's got anything to do with the Kodan necessarily, other than the hunt for Sora.
Allies. Oh no, you don't. You think? I thought what for?
No.
You mean for the wizards?
Yeah, they are playing the alliance like a puppet.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
hand fully
Absolutely.
up ass puppet, and yeah, they sent us here to
Jesus.
find their lost wizard.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like what America does to the UN. It's just like that.
It's exactly that.
Sorry, carry on.
A little tidbit. I do like that Moon Camp was actually mentioned in the very start of Secrets of the Obscure. And
Right.
now we're in Moon Camp, which I was like, nice little callback.
Yeah.
Engo, how did you feel about this? Like the going into the first, because we there's the first little kind of we're in the moon base, but then we go into like a forest and we go down and we go and do some bits and bobs. Remember that?
Yeah,
bit?
I do. I thought it was beautiful, and was just having so much fun. And I really like that there was the waterfall and like the salmon adventure and like a bunch of Like,
You
of
would
course, I
like
like
the
Salmon
salmon
Adventure. I'm
adventure.
biased toward that, yeah. But like, there was a lot of like fun things to be had, like right around the moon camp. So when you're first like entering this map and seeing it for the first time, running around, I think the overall feeling, at least for me, was just this brings me joy, and I'm having so much fun being here, and just having this pine tree vibe and Northwoods feel, and yeah, just really thought it was very beautiful and was excited to be there.
And in the instance as well, we also got introduced to Orclaw. We got to use some bits and bobs with them as well. So that was pretty
Yes.
I loved this bit.
I like that you got it so early.
Yeah.
The Warclaw. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. And then we just met them because they came and saved us because we were kind of getting effed.
We were struggling. We were getting scratched up.
We were. There were lots going down. And then we ended up going to I'm going to fast forward a bit because I'm realizing, like, you know, going for 45 minutes and we're kind of not past the first. I don't know if we're going to get this all. I don't know if we're going to get this done in one stream, but might need 2 parts.
These story streams usually take 2 parts.
Yeah, I think we'll do 2 parts for this. It's okay.
Can I just say that how they introduced the Warclaw was a beautiful mix of storytelling and gameplay. I loved it. I hope we see more of it. It was great. Thank you very much, guys. It was really good.
It was interesting that they had us fight the Warclaw like 5 times. I feel like if they would have, and from a gameplay perspective, had it be you fight to soothe it, and then you have to get on it to like wrangle it and do like a bit of a racetrack, and then that finishes, and then you fight it one more time to pacify it. That maybe would have been a bit smoother, because it is a bit strange that it's just like fight. And I think it does introduce like a couple new mechanics the more you fight it, which is nice, but that was my only critique of the actual Warclaw.
I was in Givers on my Guardian, and I hadn't swapped my build from raid healing, so this took a very, very long. I bored the poor cat to death. That was what happened. So yeah,
it's like, okay, you're not dying. I'm getting tired. I'll just give up.
Yeah. Why wasn't your health going down? Here's me in the stuff that I fucking tank in raids, and yeah, not a good idea, guys.
I could have swore I put on the best cure I had today.
Yeah.
In my claws and ice sharpening stone.
It's true. Many things were worn that day. And then they going into the small village and talking to all the people. And then we end up finding bits and bobs about the code in here and stuff.
What?
I'm trying to remember exactly what happened here because we're just meeting people like Stoic Order, etc., etc.
This really is the introduction to the major Coden characters, or I should say some of the major Coden characters. We have Stoic Alder, we have Poised Arrow, Aurora? I forgot the other name for it.
And
Fading Aurora?
Sorry.
Yes.
Good job.
Oh.
Yes. Fading Aurora, which is a key name. And it essentially allows you to just get a little bit of a primer as to who these Lilin Coden are. And there's one Coden who is the like lore keeper. And when you talk to him, he actually goes on quite a nice history lesson of how these Lilin Coden are different from the Shiver Peaks Codens in terms of their hierarchy of a claw and the absence of a voice of Coda.
Which we later find out is a very, very significant conversation.
Yes. So it is important to have been paying attention to this.
There is a lot. And the last time I think most of us played it was probably about a month ago. And especially at least like the first couple of chapters. And I'm going through like the story journal and I'm like, Jesus, there really was a lot of setup to this. There really was a lot of setup because, you know, they do talk about people missing and who they're looking for, they might be looking for. And like, it's kind of like, there's this kind of person we're looking for. They're here, and I don't know if they actually mention. Did they mention their name like in the first like kind of chapter? Waiting Sorrow, or like?
Yeah, we were basically there to find her. So we'd been introduced to Waiting Sorrow because she was the person who created the MacGuffin of the Secrets of the Obscure, the Eye of the Obscure. So, and we knew that she'd disappeared. That whole storyline had been kind of hinted at before. It's what Rook referred to as Chekhov's gun. It'd never been fired. She's very clever. Yeah. And so that was why we were here. Can I just fluff the designers, by the way? I love the fact that there is hardly any sexual dimorphism in these Coden. I think that is awesome because it's kind of representative of how bears are. In fact, I think girl bears are slightly more hench, but no, I loved that. I loved the design of these Coden. They were so cuddly and so weird and so it was great. I love them. Okay. Not in a weird way, not in a pocket mining capacity. I just thought that they were very aesthetically pleasing. So yeah.
Okay. So once we've been to I'm trying to think about how we kind of get to the next part of this, and we go into like chapter wise, like why we're here, why we continue to be hanging around. But because then it feels like for a couple of chapters we're learning about the Coden, right? Like diplomacy, we're learning about how they live, how they eat, how they sleep, the events, the maps. There's more focus around that.
We're unlocking the spear narratively. That's the thing that we do basically directly after this point. Yeah.
Okay. That's right. Yeah, because we go to I wonder if I've got the footage of that.
There's like a proving ground where they have like show bouts. And that's where we go to talk to someone about the spear, and we basically have to go and unlock the mastery by doing events around the area, and that kind of spins us into doing the map mechanics basically, and discovering all the hearts and things like that.
Yeah, I was big into all of the events because there were so many people just running around, and I was just like, I have to do all the events. I did the salmon. I did it's so much. The honey jumping event thing. I don't know why I like that so much. I think it was just the person the Coden or whoever who was just screaming and like just saying, and like it's just like that. That's her voice. She's just like amazing.
She does have a very particular voice, but that event, I love that they decided to do a dynamic event, which is a jumping puzzle. I think that's one of the first that we've had. And I was like, oh, I get to brush up on my jumping puzzle skills. Haven't had to do that in a while because mounts. But I was like, wow, still got it.
And as Avon Rising said in chat says, even me, where is it? Oh no, sorry, Smudgem says, watching the Coden get high on mushrooms was fun. As you joined them.
Yeah.
That was good. So there was some good little stories, and like within just the map with the events, and like just giving you an idea of how they lived, and even the fact that they have like, I don't know, spas and stuff. They just go and have like jacuzzis and stuff, like hot springs, and like, you know, how this is like entrenched in their culture because there's just an event based around it. And how many races there are, like just races, like salmon races and the warclaw races, and having to have different levels of the warclaw so you could actually jump and target things and do stuff. Like it was all kind of, it was very cool. It was very much based around the idea of hunting and movement, and it's just very good. Loved it. Okay, I'm just trying to see where I am in the story in this playthrough. Oh my god.
Can I ask you a question? So you love to make these wild, like head-focused cosplays. When you were wandering around this zone, did you get inspired by anything? Did you see anything and thought, oh my god, I really want to just make this and put it on my face?
Oh, that's a really good question. It's more of, I mean, I think I mentioned when we were chit-chatting before, but the Bog Queen was kind of an idea that was floating around in my brain for a while from Janthir. But just the bumblebees, there's like honey badgers floating around. Like that was kind of a fun idea that was in my brain, but I was like, is that not connected enough to Guild Wars 2. Wasn't quite sure. And then there was a mini, like a few of the minis. If you've done some of the side stories for those, there's one in particular I was that wears a top hat that I was like, oh, maybe I should do that because it would be just a joy to do. But yeah, lots of new ideas coming up.
I think the Janthir bee is a really good idea.
I would love that.
Obsessed with the Janthir bees. They're so cute and they're so fluffy.
Just one big, I don't know, bee.
Just a bee, and your face is the front of the bee.
Yeah, I'll put on my green
butt,
screen
depending on
outfit
what
and then
it is.
just float around my screen or something. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Just that.
Yeah, the ideas are flowing.
Just
Yeah.
do it. Trademark.
I'm gonna say in homesteads, when you're the bee, you can go and mine, and you carry a tiny little pickaxe.
Are you
Wait,
serious?
You can interact
That is
as
so
the bee?
cute.
Yeah. You
I
can
did
do,
not
yeah,
know
you get a little
this.
tiny, and you carry it for a while after you dug. So you're this tiny bee with this little pickaxe.
That's
Well,
It's
I know
so
what I'm doing
adorable.
after the stream. I'm gonna go do that.
I mean, I'm just going to do it now and show you. I mean,
It's so
Spoilers,
cute.
Jebro. This is a non-spoiler. Actually, no, it is a very, very big spoiler podcast.
do
Very
you
spoiler.
want to see it? Do you want to just see it for yourself when you go
You
do
can
it?
show it. You can do it. It's fine.
Anyway,
I
So-
do want to see it. Yeah.
we did
This
get
is important.
we did get told to go and check out the rifts, which was an important part of the second chapter, which I just
Yes.
looked up.
Yeah.
Not because I remembered that at all. I definitely
True.
didn't. So that was important.
I was bugged at that point, which sucked for me.
Yeah, I think a
sorry.
lot of people got bugged on
I
the
did
Rift stuff.
not. Oh, yeah, the Rift stuff. Yes. Oh, that's what it was. Because you had to do tier 2 and 3 Rifts.
Yeah, those were the only ones that were spawning in.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
But
Well, you
my
couldn't
heart was
detect
just not
them.
working at all, and I had a tier 2. I always have at least a tier 2 on. Nothing was happening, no directionality was
Oh, wow.
happening, and
Yeah, that wasn't
Yeah, it
working.
was a bit-
So you had to go
yeah.
into. So what they did on NA, because that was what was happening for everyone. What they did on NA was there were instances where there were groups of people pulling tier 2 and tier 3s, and so you just look for groups, switch map, do them, and then like everyone came together and solved the problem, which I thought was very cool. Honestly, I mean, I know people wanted to do it to keep going forward, but it was a really, really good way of seeing the community come together and trying to pick, like, you know, do the things, you know. Very, very cool. Lovely job. Just realizing I haven't harvested my home instance as well. Damn it! Quick, you've got time.
show us your bee. Show us your bee with the pickaxe.
How do I get into the bee? I can't even remember.
So
You
press
hit
L.
definition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and
there it
then-
is. There it is. Sorry.
There
oh my
he
god,
is.
I'm
Yeah.
blind. Okay, let's
That's
show you the bee
right.
very quickly.
Because it's very cute.
Oh god, you won't be able to see it on my screen properly. I mean, it's zoomed in a bit. There we go. Okay. Oh, and then I have to go and actually mine something. Oh wait, I might not be able
Yep.
to because I think I did mine. We could have already mined.
Have you? Oh.
Oh no, I got stuck. Oh no, there's something happening. Is it because I'm inside a cave? And like I don't like it. Or something? Oh, I can't.
Okay.
I've got.
Oh
I'm
no.
sorry.
So sad.
Oh well, it's okay. We'll do it next time.
I mean, it's only a little pickaxe, but it's a
little baby one. It's okay.
tiny.
Next time. No spoilers. Spoilers revealed. Sorry, denied spoilers. Whatever. Anyway, we go check out the rifts, and then we're like, oh, these are not Cryptus. There's something else. We don't know what. What could they possibly be? And that happened. And then we end up going to the. So before leaving, they told us to go and do that. I reported back to Vanak, and they seemed rather disconcerted by my discovery. One thing's for certain, Janthir is already living up to its reputation for uncertain dangers. Ooh.
Spooky.
And then after that harrowing discovery, we go to get given a house, which is, you know, the obvious thing which should happen there. because maybe they didn't want us to just feel like it was just dangerous there all the time. I don't know.
Like, thanks for helping us out. You're gonna be here for a while, so we'll give you a house.
Yeah.
If only real life was that easy.
True.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. Be nice.
I'd take the Animal Crossing version of life, to be honest.
Yes.
There's no interest on those loans, guys, and you can pay them off as slowly or as fast as you want. Everybody wants that. I'm kind of sad that they actually kind of spoiled us in the kind of run up that these creatures are going to be titans. I mean, they literally like said it in one of the trailers, and I'm kind of sad that we didn't get that kind of big reveal. I would have preferred to have been a bit more in the dark. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't really a surprise.
I was fine on that. I think I didn't hold too much against them for telling us who would be the villains for this expansion. But I think the way in which the story revealed it was a bit... It could have been a bigger moment in the story for me to feel that build-up of, oh my gosh, the revelation of these are titans. Because it was just like, we see this big creature, and then I believe it's Malice who's just like, are those titans? It's more presented as a question rather than like a definitive like boom. But because it is the question, you're kind of like, well, Chekhov's gun, it's gonna have to be titans.
Is it the... How are you, Engel? How do you feel about the whole like Titans thing? I don't know about... I can't remember what your history of like Guild Wars 2 is and Guild Wars, and like, did you know what Titans was? Like, I don't actually know because I never talked to you about that.
I did know about the Titans. Just I played Guild Wars, the original Guild Wars before Guild Wars 2, so I've been here for a while. Don't let that age me. Still pretending to be in my 20s. Anyway, I wasn't mad at it either. I think actually it made me, because I did know the lore about Titans in advance, more exciting. Or more excited to hear that they were Titans, and I was like, oh yeah, like this is awesome. We're gonna revisit some of that content, but I can also see how we could have been a bit more flashy and being like, these are a big deal and here's why they're a big deal. We kind of get the why, but it's sort of buried under, some dialogue or written in the books we walk around and find, and there's a lot of juicy stuff in there that we could have pulled forward, but I was excited to hear that they were Titans and ready for that.
It's funny you say that, because we talked on this on the podcast like several weeks ago about how we thought that everyone would have benefited from like a catch-up / lore intro to this, because people don't know about the Door of Kamali, they don't know about the Forge of Failed Creations, they don't know about the raids that were associated with these things in the previous game, and so I feel like that I love the voice acting that we get, and I love the lore books that we get to read. I think they enrich the game a lot, but I think if you want to help players who especially are new, not like old veterans like us. Oh, sorry, young veterans like us. But I think you have to give them a better hook, something to kind of get the pique their interest. I think about things like Warbringer and Old Soldier, these big animated productions that they did before some of the expansions in World of Warcraft, to just get the community excited and get them interested in the lore, because they have this beautiful visual spectacle that is kind of like pulling up its skirt and showing a bit of thigh, so that people want to see more and they want to know more. And I hope that they do something like that. I would really love for there to be like an NPC that arrives, and you can talk to them, and you can have a recap, and you can play all the cutscenes, and you can catch up how you want, and have these kind of lore things given to you, so that you because people like go away, don't play the game for a year because they're only playing for the story, come back, and you can't expect them to remember everything, right?
Yeah.
They're like, what happened last time on Guild Wars 2? Kind of thing.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. And that will be my NPC, please.
Would be good. I mean,
Yes.
even if it was just chucking all of the.
Actually, I thought that would be wooden potatoes NPC. Sorry.
Even if it was just like even if they just put all of the cutscenes in and they had like a voiceover, like just talking, just saying like this happened, blah blah blah, etc. etc.
Yeah.
I guess it's hard to make content for those people that just do that. But I think there was it with World of Warcraft where they do with the latest expansion where they did like a video or something. They do some kind of little recaps in there at times where they're like, this happened, there was all this stuff, and then blah. Very
How did this
detailed.
massive sword get in the planet?
Yeah,
Here is a TLDR.
that was
Sit
good.
down, enjoy yourself for 5 minutes.
Exactly, which was very helpful to me because I can't remember even playing that, and I don't think I did. So I was like, oh yeah, that happened. Hard to miss. Especially if you're in like Duratar or something, and you're just like, oh yeah, that happened. But yeah, so I would love that more. I think, you know, the use of trailers and stuff in the game and just recaps are really, really nice. One thing you can do is obviously just go and read the story recaps, which they do in the game, which is what I've been doing to remind myself of what actually happened. So like you can do that, but it's not as accessible and easy and quick to go through as like getting a simple like last time on Guild Wars 2.
Yeah,
Tibbled.
it's not as sexy as a cutscene.
Yeah,
is it?
yeah, exactly. I'll do the voiceover. I'll just do it. I'll just be like, you know, just that first bit. Someone else can read stuff.
It was very Star Trekian, to be honest. Yeah.
Just be like, last time on Guild Wars 2. Like I'll just do a very British accent though, very English, like fancy posh one, or like from the countryside or something. Anyway,
But I guess after we did the homestead stuff, that is when we are actually formally introduced to the Titans. So,
which one do we get
how did
introduced to?
everyone enjoy the introduction of Greer, the Titan, the seeming Titan of Blight?
Yes. Okay, wait a minute. What happened? How did that happen?
There are
I'm trying to remember.
a band, a scouting party of Coden that I think go missing, and we have to track them down. And upon tracking them down, we run into more blighted beasts, which we were fighting through the rifts. And then we stumble upon an injured survivor. And then Greer is like, I am big and strong, and I speak in poetics and riddles. You small. He called us tiny, so he called us very small.
Oh, yeah.
And cute.
Yeah.
Did he say cute as well?
You call me a cute little gamer? Just a cute little gamer. And then he threw a bunch of like pestilent swarms at me.
Oh,
So
here we go.
we have a rocky relationship. It's like, you know, a give and take.
Oh, I love that.
Worst first date ever.
Very good.
Hey, if the second date is nearly as exciting as the first, sign me up.
They rocked your socks off.
He could rock more than my socks off.
Okay. What, Greer? That's a lot of work.
Greer's hot. Well, his
Greer-
voice is hot.
The voice.
I mean, Greer is huge. I did not mean that to come out.
That works toward Greer's benefit as well.
These are all green flags.
Welcome, Engo. Engo is here.
I've arrived. I'm here.
Engo has
I made it.
entered the chat. That is, we're here now. You're here.
Come down here with us with the smut. It's great. It's fine.
The filth and the grime. We are kink welcomers.
But much like Isgarin, where it was a moment to take players out of like the game and have a bit more of a statement piece, he was introduced in a cinematic as well.
Greer was?
Yeah.
Okay, I've got the instance up because I did do the gameplay of this, although apparently I left for like 10 minutes before I did it. So here we go. Okay, there we go.
Must have seen a blue car. That was what happened. You saw a blue car run to the window. It happens to. Sorry,
That would
glitched.
be a very like skillful because my window is on the opposite side of the entire
Have an elaborate
apartment.
structure of mirrors. Oh no, that's Decima.
Wait, this is Decima?
Yeah. You're like 5 chapters ahead.
Oh, am I?
You are.
Oh damn!
Yeah.
I just saw one Titan, and I just that was
No,
very that was
there's
terrible.
three.
How
The
terrible
Decima
is
looks
that?
like a rock.
Do they? I mean, yeah, that's true. I'm a terrible bad person. Let me see if I can find it. But there was an intro for them as well.
There
It's
was.
right after the second time we go back to LA, I believe, and we talk to people again.
I really spaced out the story in
I
different
think
places.
it's
I
the
may not have
instance right
this.
before the second LA.
I may.
Because then Mouse is like, we have to call an emergency meeting.
I can't even remember if I.
While you're looking for that, I loved Malice's
copyright.
reaction. I thought Malice's reaction was actually very
Yeah.
clever. I thought it portrayed a lot of the anxiety and fear and hate that the Char feel towards the Titans, because of their history, because they were basically enthralled under them because of the Flame Legion. And I think it's very interesting, and I hope that there's kind of some consequence in terms of, or we get to see some consequences in terms of what the Flame Legion, their reaction to the return of the Titans, because I think that would be very, very interesting. You could see a splitting again, perhaps, because a lot of them still cling to that desire for power, I think.
Did you have any footage? Does anyone have any footage of this? Because I can't find it. And it's not important. Like, I mean, I don't have to show it. We can just talk
If you
about it.
go to on YouTube, Mishram posts a bunch of music, but also posts all of the cinematics for Guild Wars 2 as well.
Oh, what was the name?
Mishram, Michram.
Okay.
It would be nice. It would be nice after a certain point in time if the Guild Wars official channel had all the official videos from the expansion there in nice high quality. That would be lovely. I think they did a bit of that for Path of Fire. I think there were a few that they released.
They did it for
I think
season
that would be
4,
nice. Mm.
which I've gone back and watched actually because of Janthir Wild's cinematic trailers and cinematic moments.
Okay,
They
here we
did
go.
some well.
Wait, who's the tree? Greer's the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Okay, got it.
It's like Groot.
Because
But
we get
Greer.
rescued by what's the name? What's the name? Thingamajig.
Fading.
Fading
Aurora?
sandwich.
No, it's gonna be the cinematic before that. It's the Missing in Action.
Is it this one?
Missing in Action is his first introduction.
Oh, I got Strangers, Among Lands.
is the second. That's the reveal of who Fading Aurora is.
Mm.
Unless we want to skip to that chapter.
I don't see it on there. And I'm like,
It's the one right before.
It's the one literally right before.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is. Sorry. Wow. Hey, I'm new here.
It's okay. I'm running the podcast today. I got it. We're good.
Excellent. So it's
You're
only voice
conducting us
second.
very well.
So why do they show up? That's actually, I'm going to put the sound up here as well. Oh, because they rescue that Coden there.
It's like, ooh, a bug.
And then many more bugs. Yeah, this is so cool.
One arm is bigger than the other.
Oh yeah, and then they just go stranger. I remember that. That was so cool. I thought they were going to say, like, Greer was going to come up and say, do you want a flake with that? But it didn't happen.
Oh, what?
Sorry. Fornax knows what I mean, probably.
I really don't.
What?
Absolutely no idea.
You're
you.
English. How
That
dare
was
you?
all you, honey bunches
Do
of
you want
oats. That
to
was all
flake
you.
with that like an ice cream? Like, you know. Do you want to flake
what?
with it? No? Okay, fine.
Well, you
Oh,
tried.
wow.
It's okay. An effort was made.
Was.
Someone might have got it in chat.
Sure.
So that was cool.
We have to stop being mean to him.
Engelbert, did you get the t-shirt with Greer on it from the party?
No, I didn't. I got the logo.
They had what?
So at the party at PAX West, you went in and you got a bag, and they would. Actually, I'm gonna let Engel tell you about it. What happened?
Oh, well, you could get a t-shirt screen printed at the party that was Janthir Wild's like merch, and they had a couple, and one of them was a really epic Greer and Decima, I believe, both
Give me a
on
second.
the t-shirt. Yeah, and then they had some with the logo, and yeah, very, very fun. They printed them right there for you.
Anything about this. This is complete news to me.
It was also free. So you would walk in, they would give you a thing, and you could select it, and then you would just give it to the things, and you texted, right? It was like a whole thing. It was really cool, and you could just like there was loads, and I got the Greer one. I think that's Greer anyway.
That is damn. Whoa.
Yeah. Right. So these were
That's
only
really
available
lovely.
at the party, I believe.
I believe so. Yeah.
Hey, that's so happy for you.
I
so
am
happy for
telling you. I am telling
I'm
you.
so happy for you both.
See, next year, Kroof. Next year, my
Yes.
friend. You better be there.
Yeah. Yeah, I need my hubby. I need my hubby on my shirt.
And there was the Janthir Wilds like one, and there was I think there was this.
Wow.
Anyway, so Greer is cool, and I just got to show off and make people jealous.
I
Loot whore.
wow. Y'all got some epic loot. You got some
It
epic
was.
loot in the
Should I
raid.
tell you what's funny as well? I left. I was told. I think I got told by this by Engel. That you get tickets for raffles with loads of stuff, right? And I left and I gave mine to Malcolmist. Who do you think won?
Malcolmist.
Believe I've won before, like many times, so it's really weird. Like every single time I go, I win something from that. It's so
Guess
weird.
who won? Malcolmist.
Yeah, Malcolmist won,
Yeah.
but like it was okay because I got most of the stuff. That was all right.
Good.
And Malcolmist deserves
Was there a
it.
toaster?
No toaster.
Damn.
Sadly.
I've got the
Hammer
toaster.
out.
I have the toaster.
You know how much money you
really?
can get from that?
Yeah, I've got the toaster. It's in the UK though.
You could sell that on eBay for probably like a good penny.
I've got the shatterer as well
So we're friends, right?
in the UK.
So
In the UK.
I unfortunately my toaster short circuited and I really am craving some toast right now.
I will. I do want to. When I go back, I'm going to bring all that stuff back.
What if it's like what's that show? What's that movie? The Traveling Pants? What if we just ship the toaster to a bunch of people and we take pictures of it and then we ship it to the next person
Yeah.
as like a traveling toaster?
And just
and
make
the toaster
everyone
will
feel like
travel
it
around the
actually
world.
exists more than it does.
Yeah, it's like Bigfoot. It's like you need photographic evidence of it.
Oh, I see.
It like burns the logo into the toast, right? Or am I
so.
getting that? Yeah,
I
you could
would-
just hawk like pieces of the toast. If you want to sell me a piece of the toast, I'll preserve it and frame it and
You're
stick
gonna
it
put
up.
it in.
Right.
I was
can
thinking the same
preserve
thing.
the
I'm gonna
toast.
put it in a shadow box. I'm gonna have
Yeah.
like a nice little like I'm gonna engrave like in a metal plaque that's like the Guild Wars 2 toast
Mm-hmm.
2024.
I will tell
yeah.
you a story about this because someone's talking about it in the chat. Now, the added cool story about this, depending on how much you value money, is that I did a big show in PAX East for the World Tournament Series, when I commentated that, instead of getting paid money, I got paid with the Shatterer statue.
I'm so jealous. That's
For a
amazing.
Guild Wars 2 PvP commentator, so they paid me the gun with the Shatterer statue. They did pay for my trip as well, to be fair, and like all the things. So like it was pretty cool. I didn't care, but I didn't get a good deal. So did Kalaris. Kalaris and me are just standing there with these big Shatterers. No, they sent it to us. Look, they sent us the statues and we took pictures with them. That was funny. Anyway,
Amazing.
sorry. My plan was not to just make everyone jealous about, but it's a fun story, so I thought I'd share. Okay, so that happened. Very cool, right? Very cool. Greer. The t-shirts are cool, but like the whole Greer thing.
Greer's cool. But yes, the character of Greer. So I'm very happy that the Titans speak. And not only do they just like speak in like common sentences, they're very, very
How dare they?
strange. They speak in riddles. There is a sense of vagueness that only they understand the true meaning of. And it's extremely enticing. I can't really remember a character in Guild Wars 2, a villain, that is just, there's something off about them to us, but they seem so confident in who they are and what their end goal is.
Yeah.
And I think it's that mystique and that mystery that's wrapped in both Greer and Decima that has made me so interested in the Titans and where they're going to be going with these sentient Titans who have the ability to strategize with themselves and then also kind of mock us. It makes it feel like they are proper villains and not just like these monstrosities that fight randomly.
Mm. They have personality and direction and a plan, things that are happening behind the scenes that we have no knowledge of yet. I think it's a nice lead-in. I sincerely hope that they kind of lead us to the Forge of Fell creations. I kind of hope that we get to go to the Realms of Torment. I think that would be an incredible kind of springboard into the wider multiverse of the Mists. I'm really looking forward to that.
Oh yeah, the multiverse of the Mists. You said that before. That's nice.
I have.
And Greer is just, he's so soft. It seems like he's so gentle with his voice and his speech, but then it's just like kind of not lazily, but just kind of walking on by, blighting things and killing things. He's not as like vicious as Decima. So I think they kind of pair well together in that sense.
He's like very. When I heard him speak, it sounded like it was very regal. Like the way he kind of spoke, a bit like Iskaran to a degree, in a weird way. I don't know. Does that make sense? Kind of.
Yeah,
So-
he makes you feel very insignificant in Greer's world. Like
Yeah.
Greer looks at you as not a threat, but maybe just like a small knickknack that he can throw down.
Maybe
you know,
maybe
and keep
that's
moving.
why. Maybe that's the similarity, because that's kind of how Iskaran makes you feel as well sometimes. I like that. That's true. Do you get? So I was getting confused. I got confused, and I had Wow's story coming in when you get called a morsel, for some reason, because it's similar time of our lives. Okay, so anything else from, because that was missing in action, which is chapter 4, because we meet the first Titan, Greer.
I have a question while you're kind of
Sure.
discombobulating.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you guys, this is to everybody, do you think that these Titans are from the original campaign that we missed? Or do you think that they are new forged Titans? And if you think they're new, who do you think forged them?
Truthfully, I've not finished prophecies just yet, so I really don't know.
I don't
I'm
know.
like
either.
halfway through
I can't remember.
prophecies. I'm so sorry. I think Jenna did it. It's just she's really been sussy lately, so her feet are dirty, and I think her hands might be dirty as well. So
The angle, if you have a thought, I don't have any.
I've got a conspiracy theory, which I know, like, probably doesn't make sense, but in my mind, there was interest with like Codicus, and I know he's gone, but I think Codicus or some sort of crony or connection to Codicus might be involved with creating them. I think they're new, but I think Codicus was kind of obsessed with this idea, and we did hear about in I think it was season 4, Canuck chasing after Codicus up into Janthir. So I would love to see a connection there, and I'm just kind of waiting for a little nugget of information to kind of connect the Titans to him somehow. But that is a wild theory in the back of my brain when it comes to that.
I don't think there's anything wild. I think wild theories have come true at times in this game we've seen so far. I don't think so.
So my hope is that so we see the Eye of Janthir in the chamber of the Midnight King. So my theory is that the Masat that we know exist out in the multiverse of the Mist have been manipulating the Midnight King in order for him to destroy his realm so that they can return to their original realm, which was Naos. And I'm hoping that that connection leads back to Janthir, and that it's the Masat that have unleashed these Titans, connected to the Bloodstones, connected to the White Mantle. It kind of all fits together. And I'm hoping that we might get a return of the Masat, and all hell kicking off. That's what
because they're very present. Like they kind of still the mystical. There is kind of, we do learn things for the first time, right, about the mental though, don't we? When we're in the second map in Sentry, like there's new things we didn't really know, like how much, because the executions and the oh god, the
what
little
happened at Gabriel?
stories. Yeah, like and also just the little like side stories and whatnot. Like we find about how they kind of, I'm trying to think of the word. What's the word? Sacrificing and getting and using the bloodstone and etc. etc. Like I can't remember if they're things that I knew they were around before, but I don't. Maybe they were. I don't remember. That's not saying much.
I think if you played through Bloodstone Fan, that you will be aware that sacrifices happened, but it's one thing to kind of be coldly aware of the knowledge, and it's another thing to talk to a little cub
who
was sacrificed. And I was kind of
that was dark.
I loved those. I loved that. It was so sad. And and the only thing that I wish was that they'd actually done a cutscene there. I think that kind of the gravity of that, the weight of that,
sacrificing
it's
a
one
cub?
thing. I know.
No, that might have been a bit much for me.
I mean, you can cut away before you get to the dark and gruesome, but it makes it hit home, because a lot of it. I feel like the stories and the drama and the tragedy and horror of Gabriel, it's hard to get across in a conversation. You get kind of like the edges of it, and you kind of feel the pain of it. But to witness that, it kind of solidifies it in the minds of the audience. It gets people more involved and committed and emotionally attached to the story.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was good.
So
I like the way it was done, thankfully.
Yeah.
But
I just hope they'll have a dedicated cutscene team that all they do, even if it's just like animated NPCs that we interact with in game, I think that would be enough. Final Fantasy XIV lifts a ton of story weight with just NPCs being animated and talking and interacting in the world, and I feel like that would enrich the story, and a skip button for people who don't give a flying fudge, you know?
And they've been leveraging emotes very wisely recently and adding some very high quality emote animations. So
Yeah.
could be a
fingers
possibility.
Okay. So the important part after meeting Greer for the first time was the fact that we had to go back and tell the Alliance about it.
Another meeting.
And we had a meeting.
Guys, I know we're out of here at 5 p.m., but let's all just meet up at 4:50. We have a little meeting to go over.
It was just a little meeting because it was big, because they were like, are we going to use the Septer of Ore? There you go. Against the Titan. And like, it's just, okay. I mean, I can't, with this part, like, what did we think about, like, kind of the fact that they're about to go nuclear on this thing? I guess. Because they don't really know what happens when they
you
use
have
it.
to at least address the tool of the Scepter of Ore, because it is the device that is used to control creatures of the mists, which Titans are the creatures of the mists. So it's an obvious no-brainer to bring up as a potential solution. And with Livia coming in, as she does with such fashion and such a statement and such like an aura around her. Oh, I love Livia so much. And it was a really nice instance because I think they were able to express each of the representatives' character and also their greater, racial tendency of like the Asura being really snarky and being like, well, we have a solution. Like they're kind of like, caution to the wind, let's test it. We don't care like what happens in our experiments. We need to get to the truth and find the finality of what is going to happen. And then you have the Norn being like, what's that? I don't know what's up. So it's like very Norn. And so I think it was a very good chapter to create a sense of tension and also addressing both sides of like, people will want to use this and some people will not want to use this in the real world. And how is that going to be played out in this instance?
They don't use it in the end.
They don't.
I was
but
like,
Livia and Isgarin want to.
yeah, they do.
Sometimes you want to listen to the people who have lived for hundreds and hundreds of years because they might know what they're talking about.
Yeah, but they're a bit like, they don't like. I think Isgarin is kind of like almost seemingly does kind of care about others, but sometimes just wants to hammer things as well, or just be completely out of it. Like I feel like he's either going ham or it's just like, oh, I'll see you later. He's just like 1 foot in, 1 foot out kind of guy. Maybe black and white thinking. He's got a few issues, I think, like that one. They don't use it, but like you said, I think that's going to come back. I think it's going to be. I think it might be used in the end.
It could be a really interesting plot line to go down because then it comes down to who is wielding the scepter. Because that is a huge imbalance of power at that point. Especially if you're trying to build a Tyrian alliance, you have a sense of like an equal playing field. But then suddenly you have this extremely powerful magical nuke where you're like, well, it's the only one we got. So who gets to have this?
Dodgy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It would be quite fun if they were leading into Isgarin becoming the bad guy. That would be quite fun.
I was literally thinking about that. I was having an image of is in my head. I was like, that's the next expansion right there. Like you have Isgarin as the bad guy.
He puts on the dark sunglasses.
Oh, nice.
Dark Isgarin.
I like it. That's right. I love it. Okay, so after the meeting, they're like, nah, I won't do that. I think they just kind of want more further information, maybe. Yeah, more research to determine the scope of the threat. And then they go back to the village. And they're in a bit of a panic because Fading Aurora has buggered off on their own. Because I think they want to go kill one of the Titans. Okay. So as they did that, that's when Desmina comes up, right?
Desmina came up in the... oh, wait, Desmina. Desmina. Oh, Decima. You mean
Decima, sorry, not Decima.
No, she goes to fight Greer.
That's Greer. Okay, that's why I got confused before. Good. Because Greer, Grim, the Grim Duck. I've been playing way too much Warhammer 40,000. That's why. Okay, I'm going to show you this. So this is the part where... So this is Strangers Among Lands, okay? This is the chapter we're on in the Guild Wars 2 story. And... they find him, pop an auction. I wonder, do I maybe do the audio for this? I can't remember. I can't remember how we get into this instance and how this cutscene pops up. Do you remember, crew, for
Poised
anyone?
Arrow takes us because he's like, we gotta go find Fading Aurora.
Yeah.
That's essentially it.
Oh, okay.
And that's how we get to, is it Janthir Sentry, the second map, right? So that's our transition out of Lowland Shore.
Right. Okay. I'm going to alter this size of this video very quickly, and then we're going to play it. Because it's not that long.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
The sound is so good.
Very well.
They are so epic in this.
That like throat tone in the music soundtrack behind it is just
Yeah.
like, it's such like a primal, like naturalistic. Oh, so good.
It was a really solid, like the weight of everything in that. Like, I mean, I know Greer is big, but like, you know, just like there is them, even in this first part of the cutscene here, the sheer difference in size, but then how also the power is like fairly equal. I'm just like, whew, it was good. It was a good one.
And I did not see Fading Aurora, the reveal of her being Waiting Sorrow coming. I didn't see that at all. I was very shocked until that cutscene. I saw the power like start to rev up, and I was like, "Whoa, you've been here this entire time." That's so funny.
What about the other? What about E4X and Engel? Did you feel the same? Did you feel like it was a surprise to you as well, or not really?
I suspected, but I was excited to see it in that moment.
It was the unique character model that kind of gave her away. She looked too good
Really?
at that table. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was something about that was like, I mean, there's somewhere around. If
I
that
guess I
felt
was
there
just
was
like-
a presence.
She's the naturalistic healer. She's gonna be wearing blue. It's like the water. I was like, she's just like nature. Yay. But in hindsight, I think that is a good thing to maybe take away for possible future development, is that if you are going to hide a character, maybe have them blend in a bit more.
Maybe, but sometimes it's like about having them in plain sight. I don't think I was like. I think maybe there was always the question of like, oh, it could be, but also it could be like 2 or 3 other people, and also maybe we've just not seen them yet. It felt like we got so far in without seeing them at all that they must have been around somewhere. We must have.
And they really didn't give us any hints as
experienced
to her look at all. Like anything, like
Yeah.
even her mannerisms or anything. They just go find her. Oh, sure, needle, hairstike. Should I just like prod all the bears? I mean, it's a bit, yeah. I was also, I don't know how you guys felt about being asked to go and find this person. I was like, why? Well, I mean, a wizard's not allowed to leave. Is this some sort of like hostage situation that I should be worried about? When we first got told that we needed to go and find her for the court. And I'm like, so am I a wayfinder now? Have we decided that this is where I am and this is my role going forward? Because I wasn't necessarily convinced that was. I think that we were helping them, but I wasn't sure that we kind of like wholeheartedly taken up that mantle exclusively and now I'm working for Isgarin, which, you know,
weren't they just
I have
worried that
feelings
they were
about.
going to try and like find the Titans, and they were just kind of worried about them dying or something? Or I can't really remember.
It was that he wanted to find waiting sorrow. That's what he wanted to see. The whole pretense of coming and making peace with the code
Sorry,
and
I
all
thought
that
you
is
were
a
talking about
load of
this
bullshit.
chapter specifically.
Sorry, so no, more generally.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought, I think the overall search for waiting sorrow arc, it felt logical to me. It felt as if the Astral Ward were doing their own investigations as well, like in the background. And it was more so just, we so happened to stumble upon her first and rather organically, because she was entrenched and a part of the council in hindsight, because she remarks that when we got there and we had been referred to as Wayfinder, that's when she was like, I knew you were searching for me. So it felt rather organic. If it didn't feel, I didn't really have any questions as to like that whole process. And in regards to how powerful she is, in terms of Isgarin saying that she, at the very end of the expansion, Isgarin does remark that the Titans like could have spawned in because of her. And there's that sense of mystery to it as well. So it felt like low and slow. They're cooking it low and slow because if they were going to all rush in and try to find her, we don't know what battle or conflict could come from that.
I actually really liked that it was slow. I actually really liked that any other game could have got through this part of it in the first 25 minutes of the game. I liked that we took our time, and the whole expansion was about exploring Janthir Wilds, getting to know this different culture, immersing yourself in environments, and just enjoying the game rather than chasing after the apple, as it were. And I liked that. I thought the slower pace of story gave us more time to get to know the characters, get to know the environment, be more emotionally invested, and have real a feeling of a well-told story focused on character rather than a lot of MMOs are kind of you're always chasing the carrot, and it's not a lot interspersed with big moments, big bombastic moments, and then not a lot again. And I think there's a place for that, and I certainly can enjoy that. But I like the character progression. I think it was a real welcome change of pace, a completely different change of pace from where we left off in Naos. And I'm very happy. I'm happy that we got this introspective story rather than like a running out the clock, kind of get to the end as quickly as we can type of thing. I'm quite happy with how they're pacing their story now.
I do think that they could have it when it comes to Waiting Sorrow's actual reveal. I would have maybe liked to have seen one more instance before the reveal where the player character interacts with Fading Aurora. Maybe we're taking the injured Coden from the first Greer encounter to Fading Aurora to have them tended to and healed up, so that we have that final moment of acknowledging Fading Aurora as a character before we know her true identity. Because I was watching other streamers, and I was watching Wood and Potatoes in particular, and he completely missed the reveal. He was like, who is this? He completely missed it. And it did make me think that there weren't many occasions where the player character was having a one-on-one with Fading Aurora. So it might not have been much of a solidified character to be thinking about.
If they did do that, then maybe you would have cottoned onto it more.
But I think you could have organically done it by having the wounded, you take the wounded to the healer, the village healer. So it's not much of why are we speaking with her? It's oh, this is her role, this is her duty. So we're going to be organically speaking with her about the injuries. And then the very next chapter could have been yeah, she caught on that this was Mistburn and a Titan spell, an infection, and then she went to go find Greer, and then we're like, what are you doing here, fighting Aurora? And then we see the overall reveal.
I think we more experience her character through her relationships or through the reaction of people who have relationships with her, right? So through Stoic Alder and his son. And it's really, I described it as like a love story, but in my
absolutely.
Review, but really it's more a story of a family looking to kind of like fill that empty place that's been left. And I think that's one of the strongest elements of how they've put together this expansion, because everything is rolling into the story. How we get the spear, how we get the house, how these characters are introduced. They're really kind of rolling the narrative into the gameplay. And I think it's really cleverly done. I really like how they're doing it. I hope they kind of hold their nerve and don't go back to kind of like the rolling bombastic blah, 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 everything's happening and then someone's dead and why are they dead and oh my god, am I supposed to feel something right now? And oh my god, why did you kill Joko so soon? And like, so I'm super happy that like taking I had like genuine moments of like feeling so sad and so sorrowful and no one had to be summarily executed, which was amazing. So I think that's I think that there's been so many improvements with Janthir Wilds, especially like the experience of the map. I think we talked about this last time, but I've enjoyed exploring these maps. I want to explore these maps where I didn't in Secrets because I found them to be just an obstacle course. But yeah.
I love that because I think this is going to be a good time to start moving into towards the end of the show. But Engel, did you have any thoughts about that as well? I know there were a lot of thoughts about many things there, but I'm not sure if you wanted to add anything. I'm just checking in.
No, I'm good.
Okay. So with all of that, they've been found out. We know they're here. I think because this is halfway, we're on chapter 5, and I'm like, oh, there's 10 chapters. That's not a spoiler. I said spoilers anyway.
You did.
I did. I always feel bad about that. But then, even though it's on the title and I literally said it a million times, Kaif and Malice handled Waiting Stories reveal with curiosity. Ooh.
I want to say that I love that we haven't really even talked about the significance of why Kaif and Malice are with us at all.
I actually remember.
They are our buddies, and we have not said a single word about
like
them.
Malice is like they kind of on they're very side, but also I like Malice because Malice is like this person. Malice always feels like this person who's just like, I don't care about my life. I'm just gonna go in and do the things. Do you know what I mean? Like when Greer's there before, like Malice is standing there, like, no, come on, let's go. I'm ready to go. I'm not leaving. And you literally have to like pretty much almost force them to leave so you don't die, and so they don't die because they're just like, yeah, we can have them. Okay, all right, calm down. There seems to be this emergent need to just be destroyed by the Titans. I'm not sure why. Maybe there's something in that.
I feel like the Alliance is such a side story. And I feel like going forward, it might not be. It might just be like a tool that they use to spawn us into different areas and to have us, like a plot device.
Oh, it's the driver, right? Like it's a big like.
Yeah.
That was what
the
got
mission
us there.
board table you go to start your next quest.
It's nice that they're there,
rather
though.
than an NPC with an exclamation mark, we have an alliance in a conversation, and it's far more civilized, I guess.
It gives it more importance, I think, more weight. Like, because everyone's involved and all of a sudden you're like, the Titans are here. No, the world is over. No, it's not. But like, potentially could be. It's not a good thing. So yeah, awesome. So up until this point, I mean, Fornax, you were saying how you feel like the pacing is good and generally where we're going with the story is pretty cool. I think I have some thoughts about towards the end of the general story, which may change, which kind of altered my view of being like really into the story. And then because I don't want to talk about it too much because we could do that next time. But like there was a bit of a drop off for me where I was a little bit unhappy, to be honest.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh, we've done so well. It's been so good. And I'm like, if this is, we know that these stories are going to be continued as we go through, but that wasn't kind of how it was sold. And I was a bit like, if this was just played on its own, I'm not sure if this was the best ending. But that's a like next time on the Lightbringers. I kind of hint as to what I might be talking about specifically. But up until now, up until chapter 5 inclusive, generally pretty happy with the story. Best story they've done ever in any.
No.
Oh. No, you were just really gung-ho, like loving it. What happened?
I am loving it. No, nothing happened.
What would be everyone's like what you think is their best story?
In Guild Wars 2. Not best story, but like in terms of expansion wise, like where are you rating this so far? Like when you're halfway through, you're like excited, you're like, oh yeah, this is.
Heart of Thorns is definitely up there because I'm biased, but I do have a lot of problems with like the later half of that expansion and its story.
Yeah.
But this one I think is like pretty close to like the one spot. It's like in the top 2, 3, I would say.
Don't have to commit
so far.
People, but it's
things
okay.
could change.
Yeah. How about you, Hank? How are you feeling about it? Or like Fornax or whoever wants to go next?
No. Go and go.
I think I just I mean, the joyful aspects and the other, I know, like story-wise, and then if you add in some of the other story bits, like side stories and things like that, I just was having so much just straight fun, even while dealing with a very serious thing going on in the wilds. So I had like a very well balanced, like give me the drama, but at the same time also give me the lightheartedness and the humor that I love in, a Guild Wars 2 writing. I think the narrative team, I love just all the little things they stick in there that like are either there to make them laugh, but also hopefully other people laugh. And yeah. So for me, Janthir Wilds is very highly rated in my book. Heart of Thorns has that spot for me, but I would say Janthir Wilds is pretty darn close to Heart of Thorns on my rating scale.
Ooh, nice. Fornax.
I don't. So. I don't have favorites of anything. I don't have a favorite color. I don't have a favorite movie. I have things that I like for different reasons.
That's fair.
And I've liked various narrative threads. Like for example, one of my favorites is basically the entirety of the Sylvari arc. Because from the very start, it was always leading up to them being revealed as minions of a dragon champion, and there was so much interest and so much foreshadowing and so much like long-term deep storytelling right from the start into season 1. It was so well done. I thought that was great. I also loved like the parent story that we had with Aurora when and we went through the full spectrum of what a parent goes through with difficult starts and dealing with a rowdy teenager and then letting them go at the end of the story to have their own lives. And it's a lovely mirror of a parental relationship. And I think they've done so many stories like that really well, like the relationships between Cass and Jury. It's a real, it feels from the outside like a real relationship. They get on each other's nerves, they have arguments, but they love one another and they come together. And I like the way that it's just, they haven't sensationalized it. They haven't done the lesbians leading the charge shit that people do. It's just two people who love each other. No, but businesses cash in on this shit.
Oh, I know.
Fuck all this pride nonsense with businesses. You can all just fucking greedy bastards. I just love the fact that it's an ordinary story about two people who find each other in a difficult circumstance. They fall in love, they have difficulties, and they're living a life. And I don't feel like that's often portrayed, especially for gay couples. So I love that. And the whole ethos of the game for having really good representation and story is fantastic. But they never sensationalize it. It's not there for spectacle. It's not there for the male gaze. They're not hunting the pocket farming gamer who wants to just, a bit of titillation on the side. They're telling stories about, as best they can, with the limitations that they have, about probably real people that they know and real situations that they've experienced, with just people trying to live their lives in difficult situations. And I love that.
Boom. I'll do. Is everyone okay? Everyone's like very still right now. I was like, they were listening, and then they were like still, and I was like, is my PC broken? You were just both intently listening.
We all froze.
And I was like, I'm moving by not looking at me. I'm just trying to see if anyone's going to breathe right now.
Sorry.
No, it was good.
Let's get back to the penis jokes.
They were
okay.
no. It was very good. The people
They were good thoughts.
They were interested and transfixed by your words. These are good things. You have many good things to say, as you all do always.
It's just the speed, guys. It's just the speed.
It's just the speed.
Arena Net's writing definitely can shine in like the pockets of like specific narratives. And I guess when you're looking at the totality of an expansion, it can get really muddy because there are certain plot lines that go places, others that don't. But yeah, I guess looking at in terms of like the overall arc of a particular story type, like with the Sylvari or Chasm Jory, that's another good way of looking at like good story moments.
I thought, and I think I like Engel's point as well about the story in terms of the maps and kind of everything as a whole, as like as you play through it. Yeah, I think that's why I enjoyed it so much, because it took me a long time to play the story. So after I'd got into the map, like I was blown away by how good the map was, I think, and the events and the amount of people that were running around and the new things they were doing and the new way they're managing hearts, and how I've done some of those hearts more than I've done some of the repeatable hearts in the like to farm other things in the past, and then combining those smaller stories in some of the events, like the heartbreaking tragic stories of like, a mother trying to get revenge for their cub dying against, this wolf pack, and then like all coming together to heal this cub whilst all these mini, what are they called? And then mini titan, what are they called?
Blighted beasts.
Those ones, the blighted beasts.
Or Titan spawn,
whatever. And while they're spawning, and it's dangerous because there's a shed load of them, and the AoE is bad, and you feel like that situation is really dangerous. So there's this idea that it's not just in the story where there's this encroaching force. They're flipping everywhere, doing loads of stuff. So it's like, it felt with the map and everything else, I always try to look at these expansions when I judge the story as, how does it fit in with the map? How does it fit in with the features? How does it fit in with all this stuff? And I think as a general whole, that lifts the story. And the story also complements these miniature kind of small stories in the maps as well. Because if you get to Sintry, it's like, whoa, damn. That White Mantle stuff is some of the darkest shit I've like witnessed in Guild Wars 2. I'm like sitting there like, am I playing a different game from someone else? Like, they're talking about like the way they sacrifice people and sacrificing a cub, and then like the fact that the tragedy of how some of these people think they're still alive, and like that they're gonna be okay, and you're like, just don't even tell them, because it just feels so awful, and that they're just gonna go off. And it's like, And they've been like this for thousands of years. And just like all of these different things. And even thinking about it now, I'm just like, whoa. So all the combination of everything, I think, I just really enjoy it up to this point. And I still did up towards the end. But we'll talk about that next time. But, generally overall, the favorites thing is difficult, but it's up there. It's definitely up there. Along with like the main story, obviously vanilla. As my that's a joke, by the way.
They've just got to stick the landing, right? They've got to stick the landing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just so good. I actually didn't mind the main story, by the way. But yeah, good stuff. I think Path of Fire is still one of my favorites as well. Honestly, I just like the fact that Balthazar and all of it was just really, I don't know, fairly meaty, pretty good.
Good run up with that Living World season with him. That was very good. They did it really well with
towards the end of that.
That was really well done.
When we had to go back and do the achievements for I think it was the legendary amulet. I think we had to do part of that, right? And I was like, I remembering when I did it, I was like, whoa, shit. This was such a good setup. This was like the ultimate, like, you have to play the expansion. Like, you have to play it. Because this is, like, epic. Anyway, lovely.
Honestly, if you like Guild Wars 2, I highly recommend every couple of years, make a new character, play through it all in one go. Because it feels so different. You really get a much better sense of flow, and it reminds you of just how much like love and dedication and heart and soul is put into the game by its creators, and how much they kind of love the material that it's kind of founded on. It's a lore nerd's dream. Yeah.
We did start a playthrough, didn't we? From the base game.
We did.
And need to
we did.
And see where we got to. Okay, peeps, we're going to head off, but it's been an awesome one. Outros. Engelbert, tell us what you do, where you do it. Sell yourself to the masses and the thousands of millions of people that watch the things we do.
You can find me on twitch.tv/EngelbertMeow, usually in the evenings of Central Time. And I do Curse Cosplays monthly, actually coming up in October. If I can plug, I'm doing a series called Extra Curse Cosplays.
Oh, what?
Yeah, extra. We're going to spice it up. So instead of doing just like one person, place, or thing from within Tyria, I'm going to pick two things and mash them together. And that's going to be once a week. And they're going to look probably like super crazy. I don't know what we might pick, but like a Joko and Bram or something, and do like some zombie version of Bram, or just some random stuff. It'll be for the Extra Life, and that'll be once a week in October. That I'll be doing that. So hope you can check it out. And thanks for having me on the podcast.
It's been a pleasure to have you. You are welcome back anytime. We may get you back in 2 weeks to finish this one off, actually. If you're available, I will let you know for sure. Well, it's an invite now. Like, you're welcome to come back in 2 weeks. That's when we're going to do it. If you want to come back,
I'll check my schedule.
Yeah, stamp. Like, let's go. Let's book it, ship it. That wasn't the right thing to say. It's been awesome to have you here. Kroof, tell us what you do, where you do it, and such and so forth.
Hi guys, it was so nice to be here today. I had a great time. Absolutely wonderful. If you want to find more stuff from me, you go over to YouTube, Grove, or here on Twitch, Grove.
That's it.
Is it underscore though?
Oh, well, that's like implied. Like, everyone knows.
They don't know, because if they'd just done Kroof, they would have got like over to some other random person that's not you.
Is there another Kroof though?
Well,
Is there
there
another
must be,
Kroof?
because otherwise you wouldn't have put
Is there another
underscore in it.
Oh my god.
My search engine optimization for the name Kroof is very strong with me. So
Okay, I'm
there
gonna
was
go and
that
check
roofing
now.
company like a
Twitch.
couple years back. I shot them down in the Google because no one was looking for them anymore. So
Impressive.
Kroof.
it's like
Oh, it does
Trading
go
in
to.
an
Wait, no,
investment
no.
company's house. There's one in the UK. I'm sorry, there is
Yeah.
there is like somebody trading under you. in
There
that
is
case.
someone
Damn,
called
I'm gonna
Proof with 2 followers.
I'm gonna have to like
Twitch.
really market towards the UK the department, and thankfully my name isn't Beyonce, so I'm pretty easy to find.
Amazing. Their details will be in the description as long as with angles as well. Did I spell her name right? I did. Fornax says what you
Yes.
do and where you do it. You speed freak.
Speed. The prescription meds, guys. Just so I have ADHD.
Sorry. It's okay. Like, we're not like actually
Not
accusing
a rampant
people.
drug addict or anything like that.
Race cars?
Oh,
That's what we used
well, I
to
do
call
like Formula
people.
One, but no. Is it? What?
Yeah, back in the
Oh
day.
goodness. Oh my goodness. No. I'm a good girl.
There
I
are a
only
few
take
different
prescription
meanings. There are a
medication.
few different meanings to the phrase, but it's very bad. Don't use that anymore.
Oh. Oh, okay. Remember that, chat.
Yes.
So, hey, I'm Fornax, the Crichton Herald. I make content for Guild Wars 2 and other games over on YouTube. I do guides, I do reviews, I ramble, I like Fashion Wars, etc. Yes, do check out my content, please. There's less swearing in the actual videos. When people meet me in real life, they're rather shocked.
Your
Like,
content on
holy fuck.
YouTube is very different.
Fucking squeaky clean, bitches. I want the AdSense, but yeah.
What was that?
I
hand
was
moment?
gonna introduce the dildo of consequence to one of my videos,
The
but
DOC
my
has
husband read the
returned.
script and he was like, "Oh, babe, you can't."
I want that
You
to
were
be
going
But
to
it
try
was
and put the
funny.
dildo of consequence in one of your scripts in YouTube?
Oh,
That, if you
Yeah.
can fit that in.
Oh,
totally.
Sorry, I did not
So
mean
the
it.
line is,
oh,
for the uninitiated, the line is, "The dildo of consequence rarely arrives lubricated." Right. So that's the that's the context. Yeah.
you fundamentally changed the course of my life. My
Oh,
the butterfly effect.
Not in a
happened
good
that
way,
moment.
though.
It's like playing Until Dawn, and like you flicked on the light switch, and suddenly everyth's different.
and it's
and
smudging
you
in
always
chest.
have lube with you, so that's the.
Smudging in chest says new merch. Dildo consequence. You can get your own dildo consequence now. Phonics, the Grand Herald / DOC with added Farron attachments. Sorry.
Oh my god.
Sorry. That's a new cosplay for you.
I'm not
Oh.
mad you picked Farron, at least. So
Maybe for extra life. Let's put that dildo of consequence to good use, shall we? Everyone remember your safe word. Yeah.
There we go. There we go. Oh, I needed this. Oh, I really did. Excellent. Excellent. Oh dear. You snuck it in there in the end, didn't you?
This is the only podcast that will have me, by the way. Nobody else. Nobody else will touch me with a barge pole. It's quite funny.
Or a DOC. So if you want to go and watch the podcast on YouTube or Spotify, wow. I'm blocking my own vision now from the laughing. Brave. Grounded. YouTube.com/Jebro. You need to go and watch it on YouTube. Comment, like, subscribe, do the things there if you want to. All of the past episodes are on there as well as a big old playlist. There's over 100 episodes. When we get to 200, I can say hundreds. We got a fair amount going on there. This was episode, Jesus. not episode Jesus, but like, what episode was this? I didn't even start with that. Normally I do. Take a guess.
This is the Jesus episode.
This is the Jesus episode. It is episode 3 of season 4. There you go. Janthir Wilds. We do a new season every expansion.
Yeah.
I guess. I think that's what it's been so far. So yeah, actually, wow, we have been around for a fair old while. Damn, I keep forgetting about that.
Yeah.
Check us out on Spotify, Lightbringers podcast or Lightbringers GW2. If you are listening to us on iTunes, Spotify, or any of your favorite podcasting apps or whatever the hell they are, give us a little cheeky rate. Get the rating high up so people go and listen to it. Share with your mates. It's good to listen on the way to work, especially if it's a 2-hour plus journey. Because we will supply you with hours of joy and hours of filth and hours of Guild Wars 2 and awesomeness. We will be back in 2 weeks. We're doing the podcast every 2 weeks now. Other than that, yeah, next story half. We'll do that next time. Other than that, what else is there? Is there anything else? Anyone want to say anything else before we go? No.
No.
We will see you next time on the Guild Wars 2 podcast. The what? Sorry?
I'm sleepy. I want to go to bed. It's quite late.
Oh, I'm glad you're going to be able to get some sleep. Awesome.
I'm hoping, fingers crossed. Yeah.
Awesome. We will see you next time on Lightbringers podcast. Take care.
Bye,
And bye-bye.
everyone.
Safe travels.
Bye.
I'm gonna go get drunk tonight.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
have fun.
Probably not very drunk.